So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 11, iPhone 13, should you upgrade to the iPhone 13? That's the aim of today's video. Let's begin by talking about the price points. $499 for iPhone 11 right here, still for sale actually. This one $799. It goes up from there depending on the storage that you do want to get, so twice the price basically to get yourself an iPhone 13. However, trade-in values, Apple's giving $340 for this, and if you sell it third party, you might even be able to get around $400 on a sale if it's in good condition, good battery health, things like that. So you can get some money to put towards the iPhone 13. But is it time to upgrade the iPhone 11? That's the aim of today's video. Let's talk about the build and the body. First of all, the build feels like a tank on the iPhone 11. There's nothing that feels cheap about this. It doesn't have Apple's ceramic glass, but it does have a strong glass on the back as well as an aluminum build around the edges. It's still a beautiful phone even now in 2021. You can see that some people say it's age looking, but that's only depends if you want the squared body. If you're a fan of the round body, I would say that the iPhone 13 is not going to please you too much if you're not a fan of the squared edges. Now, design wise, if we're looking at the front, you'll see that the bezel's got a lot thinner for the iPhone 13. Again, is this something that bugs you? If it does, go for the 13. You'll be happy with its more sleek looking front. Now, that notch is a little bit smaller and some people do prefer it. Some people don't care. We'll have to see. Let's take a look at those notches. You see the difference? The one on the iPhone 11 is a little bit different from the one on the iPhone 13. Overall, though, I would say design-wise, it comes down to, do you really care so much about the squared body? Do you want the thicker diagonal cameras versus the vertical smaller cameras? What do you prefer? That's really what it comes down to, because I think overall, I don't have this feeling like I have to go to the 13 right now if I'm an iPhone 11 user. I'm putting myself in your shoes. It doesn't feel like it's a must-do right this minute. Like, it's not like a revolutionary change. It's an enhancement. It's a refinement over the iPhone 11, just like the iPhone 12 was. It's not the radical change I think a lot of people want to see from Apple, but it's still a very nice update, and it's a little bit lighter than the iPhone 11 as well. 174 grams. Even with the larger battery, this one weighs 194 grams, so the 11's got some density to it. This one does too, but it feels quite a bit lighter, a little bit easier, I would say, to hold in terms of weight. But the iPhone 11 feels nice with that curved body. Really comes down to, what do you prefer? Let me know your preference on design down below in the comment section of this video. Now, when talking about display, we are looking at a much better display for the iPhone 13. Why do I say this? Well, because it goes to OLED from the iPhone 11's LCD, and this also gets brighter, up to 800 nits of usable brightness and a sharper overall resolution. So no matter what you're doing for each phone, you're going to notice that if you stack it side by side, that the iPhone 11 doesn't look quite as good as the iPhone 13. Now, I will say that some people will say, well, I don't really even notice and I really love LCD. But if you take a look at the viewing angles, LCD washes out a bit quicker. In addition to that, I will say that the OLED looks a lot more contrasty at nighttime. It's not like people were complaining about the iPhone 11 who actually bought it. A lot of people love this phone. But I will say that display is a major update. Even without having the 120 Hz ProMotion, it's an update for the iPhone 13 for sure. So if you're looking for the better panel, although they are the same size, you are getting the sleeker, brighter, more vivid display for the iPhone 13. Go for this one every day of the week if you do want that, especially if you're consuming, some of your subscriptions like Apple TV Plus, as well as Netflix, things like that. You'll just notice the more punch in the deeper blacks, as you can see right there, versus the iPhone 11. So yes, I would upgrade if I care a lot about getting a better, more juicy display. Now, when talking about the software, I actually haven't updated to 15 for my 11 yet. It does have 15 available, but the software experience is very similar, for both platforms. The iPhone 13 doesn't really change much in how you use this phone. Of course, every single year with the updates, we do see updates in the camera software. Like, you do have the ability to go over here into the camera and you'll go into video, cinematic video right here. You can't do this for the 11, so you'll see new features in the camera area. But in terms of using these phones day to day, the average person won't even be able to notice that there's a major difference. So software is pretty much a wash. I wouldn't update this thinking I'm going to get, so much better software. But if you're thinking like, well, my iPhone 11 is a couple years old, I love iOS, I want to keep it for 4 years, then you're going to add yourself some more software support by buying another iOS phone right here. Now, when it comes to the performance aspects, the A13 Bionic here in the iPhone 11 is still a monster. Like, you don't really see it kind of like lag up at all. So it's kind of hard to say that the performance element is something you're really going to notice on the day-to-day with the iPhone 13. I really was, open up a few apps before this video, and I couldn't even tell the difference between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 13 when it comes to performance. Now, the A15, don't get me wrong, technically will outscore the iPhone 11. It will do a bit better in gaming and benchmarks and camera. Average users probably won't notice that upgrade as much as they will notice the design, the way it looks, the way it feels, the cameras, the battery. They'll notice that stuff more. But I'm not saying that the A15 ain't worth it. It's definitely worth it if you're planning to get a new phone, keep it another 4 years. You'll want the more powerful chips. So if you care about performance, I do think it's a decent upgrade, but I wish they would have put the ProMotion, because it's harder to feel it unless Apple puts the ProMotion on the next iPhone 14, for example. That's why it's a little bit tricky this year. You might want to keep the 11, wait to see if they put ProMotion on the 14 and bring it down from the Pros. But I would say, yes, if you do want the better chip, go with the 13. You will be pretty happy right there. Now, in the area of camera, this is an area, let's bring in the Lambo right here. This is an area where I definitely do think that the iPhone 11 is still a strong contender. So when you do snap a photo, you get some amazing results still. And that's because Apple really stepped up their game with the 11 series of phones with cameras, whereas with the iPhone 13, they're doing the same thing and they get even better. So over here, you get, what I noticed is you get more background blur on the newer iPhones. You get more background blur in video. You can separate the depth of field and stuff a little bit better with this cinematic video. It's a huge update in the cinematic video. In addition to that, the front-facing cameras are actually staying the same. A lot of people are saying they want to see the upgrade to the front-facing camera for the iPhone 14 because they keep this camera pretty similar to the Apple iPhone 11. If you look at the spec sheet, it literally does match up. Other than that, you do get portrait on both. You do get panoramics, and if we go to photo here, both of them do offer up the ultra wide angle. However, the iPhone 13 does give you, a bit better HDR video, and because it has a brighter display, the framing will be a bit better, and it has a little bit better low light performance. Other than that, the cameras are not that big of a deal difference, but I will say they're upgraded. Definitely better than the iPhone 11. I don't think they're like mind-blowingly better, but if you look closely, you will see the differences. And if you're looking for a camera upgrade, I think you will be happy with this one, but don't expect something that's like drastically different. Just improved. You will see improved results on the iPhone 13. That's an area I would definitely recommend thinking about doing this upgrade. If you're on the verge of upgrading your iPhone 11, you'll get better photos and video for sure on the iPhone 13. And one thing I will say is that I was taking photos and videos with the 13 at full brightness outside, and the battery was holding on strong. And that's how I want to segue into my battery section of this video. The iPhone 11 has always impressed me with its extraordinary battery life, being one of the best I've seen on iPhones. And the reason I say this is because I could use iPhone 11 all day and still finish with like 60%. Then the iPhone 12 came out. I'm like, what's going on here? So the iPhone 13 comes back and says, I got your back. The iPhone 13 is like, I'm back to iPhone 11 days battery. So you're getting back to that similar battery, great battery life you would expect for the Apple iPhone 11 here for the iPhone 13. So I will say, if you're looking for, iPhone 11 like battery with the newer iPhone 12 design, the 13 is for you. This one really reminded me of this phone, even using the 5G, and that could be thanks to the A15 being super efficient. Having this good battery life with 5G is pretty difficult to achieve, but Apple has done it here with the iPhone 13. So battery life, I would do the upgrade. It's a larger battery in the iPhone 13, and it's more efficient with the A15 over the A13. That is definitely a recommendation for me here. Now, when we're talking about the audio performance between both of these phones,
but mostly these Pros as well, is that when you get this phone hot, Apple will automatically dim the display. I know it's, for protection of the...
All right, over here.
What I don't like about these 13, all the models, but mostly these Pros as well, is that when you get this phone hot, Apple will automatically dim the display. I know it's, for...
iPhone 13 is louder, but it also sounds a bit crispier. So yeah, I would go with the iPhone 13 for the audio, but it's not, again, it's not like life changing. You're gonna throw on your AirPods, they both connect similarly fast, and you're gonna forget about that the next day. So both of them strong enough in the audio department. Now, one of the areas that you'll notice is not just that the iPhone 13 has an A15, but it performs better in the area of mobile performance. So with this one over here, you do get a 5G, phone here, and it's pretty quick compared to like the 4G LTE on the iPhone 11. So that's a major update. If you skipped over the 5G 12, go here to the 5G 13, you'll be good. I will also say the area of phone call quality has gotten far superior for the 13. So if you rely on phone calls, you'll have better signal strength for the iPhone 13 because it has Qualcomm modems inside of the body there. So the 11 wasn't the best there, but it still does the job, especially if you're in areas that have good cell strength. Either way, you won't notice a difference. But once you start getting out and about, you'll notice that the iPhone 13 can hold on a bit better strength and signal strength than the iPhone 11. So at the end of the day, should you do the upgrade to the iPhone 11? I find this to be a little bit tricky because it's going to depend on who the person is and what they desire in a phone. If you're the type of person who wants the OLED display, you're tired of LCD, this is going to be an excellent update. If you're like, I love my iPhone 11, but I just want something a little more modern, similar type of phone, but more modern, a little bit better cameras, a little bit better battery life, you'll absolutely love this update. If you're looking for like a lot more speed, you'll have it here, but you won't really notice it. So I wouldn't update thinking I'm going to get so much more speed. I would go to the iPhone 13 Pro if you want to feel something that feels faster, because that Pro Motion does make the difference there. In the area of cameras, I will say that you should do the update if you care a lot about video performance. If you want a better front-facing camera, don't do this. It's not very much different. And if you want better photo quality, I would say you're going to be pretty happy, but it's not going to be groundbreaking. And the video is really what seems to be so much better on the iPhone 11 and low light performance in night photos. Other than that, I don't think, you're going to be okay with the iPhone 11 if you decide to wait one more year, hold it out. That's why Apple still sells it, because they know as well the iPhone 11 is still a strong contender in the smartphone market. It still has a great amount of features and people still do like it. And even though 4G phones are on the way out, they're still, in circulation. A lot of people say, I don't even got 5G in my area. If that's you, thumbs up down below, because I understand not everybody has access to that network just yet. But if you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, go ahead and click that like button for me. Let me know if you have any questions, subscribe for more, and I will catch you all in the very next comparison video. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.